Alright, so we're playing a rapid game now, and I'm going for my standard opening. So I'm gonna try, okay, normal Italian, so it's the knight off, yes, Sicilian rather. And this is the time and off setup. And takes. What's the main move here? I don't even remember what the main move is. Can I just push the pawn? If we push the pawn, where is he gonna go? He's gonna go here, right? If I push the pawn, he has check though. Check, I develop, and he takes, so that doesn't work. If I bring the knight here, there's the possibility of bishop b4, so I might also have to play just queen bishop d3, or I'll play like this first. If bishop g5, then bishop d3. I could also go for queen d3. I think queen d3 is a thing here. Queen d3, but after takes, I'm still taking with the pawn. So I'm gonna defend like this. I don't know. This is one of the Sicilians that I'm not particularly familiar with. Okay. So here he doesn't have a light dark squared bishop. So I guess typically I could go for this setup, but it's going to be harder to get rid of this pin, right? Yeah. So he's gonna have to push this pawn. Wait, is this the right move? Because he has d5. Might try to bring this knight here, but then I could argue that this bishop is no longer going to be developed along this diagonal, unless he plays like a madman and goes for g5. Right, so let's see. What does this do? I could still go for takes. This is counting on this being a check. Right, takes. He can takes. I'm not bringing my queen up. I can play queen f. Queen f, queen f, king f1. And when the pawn takes, I have moves like king here. I have like check. I could keep my king on f1. Check. How is it going to block? Right. Yeah, so I think I'll go for this. I'm going to sacrifice the pawn, because if he takes the pawn, he can't take the knight, because it's defended by the bishop. I was always uncomfortable with playing moves like king f1. And I'm only getting comfortable with doing that now, or even the idea of sacrificing pieces. Oh, so now he doesn't even have. So if I go for check, he could. Okay, so I guess this is a better version, because now, then after the check, what am I going to do? I could also go here instead. Okay, so I guess we can sacrifice this pawn. We can give that pawn away. Because these pieces are all undeveloped. So I don't think I mind that. Right, so check. The problem with check though is his king goes there and check. Oh, or I could go for this. Let's see, this takes, because the knight will be protected via this. I don't think he's going to fall for that. What else? Another candidate. I don't want to play this because I'm blocking the path of my queen. I could play this. forcing him to come here, right? And then I have a attacking ideas. Okay, I think this looks correct. I don't know. And the other advantage of that is I disconnect the king, his queen from. Wait, he could go there instead. Yeah, that's what I missed. Okay, so he might plan on doing this next. Queen here, plays like that. I need to make use of my initiative though. Check, king just slides over. Alright, I have this move with takes. Just takes with the queen. Now I'm missing my dark squared bishop. Check. The problem is there's this and his rook joins the party. Okay, so check. Check, you could go there, then I go there. Then his king is forced there, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go for check. He also can't block with his king, with his queen, because... So now I could go here. If this comes... I could go here. Okay, so which move is better? Should I go here? Or should I go here, right? I think this is better because it attacks both points. Problem is after this I need to make sure that here, okay, I think this is better because it's more centralized. I could always bring my knight there. Also, I'm covering this square. So I think this game is a good example of having an initiative, right? Okay, so I'm going to take here because we have this check. If I go for this check now, it's just gonna come here. So I think this should be fine. Maybe I should have calculated that more. I'm also covering this square for the knight. So now I have the pawn back. I have more developed pieces, and my attack is ongoing, and I'm threatening checkmate with this. Not checkmate exactly, but because this check, he has to go here. What's next? Right. Let's see. I don't want to trade queens. Actually, I could trade and win the knight, win the rod, win the rook. That's another option. So I could also go for check first. Check. He goes there. This comes with check. Yeah, so my opponent resigned because they've noticed where their mistake is. So I think this was a perfect game. It's a good example of having the initiative and developing your pieces. I gave away the pawn, but here I just have too much pressure. So I could play this check. The king has to go back, and then I take with check. They take, and I'm just winning the rook after knight c7. So next up, I'm going to analyze this. I'm going to click on share. I'm going to get the PGN, and I'm going on Lichess because I like to analyze the game on Lichess. Alright, so we're going to try to analyze the game. So I'm just going to paste it here. And I opened one of my studies in the time manual because I wanted to check that as well. So e4, c5, knight f3, e6. This is standard stuff. And the main move here, even though the computer wants knight f6, I guess is a6. So let's look at that. a6, bishop d3. I guess I've rarely faced this. Bishop c5, knight b3. Okay, bishop e7. That's the main line. Bishop e7, then queen g4. And this just looks like a weird opening because white just has a big advantage here. So I'm going for the main moves, by the way, from the table base. Right, but then the move that I'm familiar with is as from this position, the move that I'm familiar with is knight c6, going into a timing move. And here the main move is uh, knight c3, get queen c7, bishop e3, bishop e3 is the main move, I guess, a6. Also, you can actually play the timer move like this. Right, so this is how the game typically is supposed to go in the main line of the timer move. And here, we're not afraid of this because we'll take back with the queen. Right, so we're fine. Okay, but then the line that I'm familiar with is with bishop e2 first. I think this is what I first studied in the timer move. And then after a6, castles, knight f6, bishop here, we play this move, knight a4, and the idea is black doesn't want to take here because we're going to have so much pressure in the position. We have bishop e7, we have queen d4, sorry, this is bishop f3, queen d4, we even have this, right, because it's defended by that, and then you could play a move such as this, and here we get to win the right. So we're attacking the bishop, but we're also attacking this pawn. So that's why that's a useful move. Right. So the way it typically goes is after knight a4, black plays bishop e7, and then right. So this is the time move basically. Okay. But then our opponent played something else. They played uh, knight f6. I've never looked at this before, which is why I was debating if it's possible to play e5. And if you try e5, you see that this doesn't work, like I said, because we're hanging the pawn. So the correct move is knight c3, okay? The next move is d6 here, but they went for bishop b5. And here the computer is saying e5. Apparently it's because of here. Wow, queen g4. So we're just gonna leave this. What if takes? Okay. I guess the idea here is black doesn't have any useful discoveries. So here we'll try to push the the bishop away. Right. So we take, they take, and look at black's position is just too weak here. So I guess that's the main move, but then I went for bishop d3, which is the second move because it's the safer option. So that's what I saw at the time. So takes apparently is a mistake because after takes, what do? We just took back. And here the computer still wants me to play e5. Wow. The idea being takes, I guess the idea is we have too much initiative, so we're attacking too many points in the position. Right. But then this is how the game went. I was trying to pin the knight. My thinking was, okay, it's going to take him a while to defend this, but then I realized that during the game I was suggesting d5, but this doesn't work because of e5, which I'm just noticing. But then black could go for something like this, and let's say we castle. They could go for a system with knight here, I guess, trying to defend the other knight. So that's one of the possibilities. If we go back, or black could just play g5. Okay. But then I will be a lot more comfortable in that situation. because of the weaknesses on the king side. Right, so this is how the game proceeded, and apparently at this point I already have a huge advantage because of the initiative, and I have more pieces developed. Right here, I calculated takes, and king f8. As a beginner, I was always very uncomfortable with this, but here, even though the king is awkwardly placed, the rook can always come out this way, and it's protected because the bishop covers this diagonal. And we also have the more active pieces. All of black's pieces are on the back rank, which means that we have the initiative, so this isn't bad. But then my opponent did something even worse. They didn't take the pawn right away. They took there, and now it's just a better version of the previous one because I get to castle. Right, the take, we don't mind the pawn. Like I said, 1, 2, 3 pieces. This piece will come into the attack soon, and so will this one. And all these pieces are on the back rank. So I decided to attack the queen first. Queen moves back. Apparently that was the right move. Yeah, and that was the right move as well. So I already described that. And here my opponent just resigned because knight c7 is coming and the rook is going. So even after this, my opponent is losing. So I guess this was a failure straight out of the opening from my opponent's side, at least. So yeah, it was an interesting game. Alright, if you find it interesting, you can always subscribe or leave a comment or whatever. And I hope you were entertained or learned something. Or you could offer some insights to me as well because I'm not a master or anything. My current rating is... I don't really play rapid much here, but it's only 1649, so I'm hoping it's gonna go higher with time. So yeah, thanks for watching and bye.